Hi, I'm Richard Grove, and we created the Tragedy and Hope online research community back in 2009. It originally started out as a flip page digital magazine, which was pretty cool back then because we could insert podcasts and we could embed videos, and it was kind of a magazine format brought into the digital age. But the problem was it took so long to produce it that people wanted it 24/7, and it was taking us months just to create one issue. And so we created the Tragedy and Hope online research community, which has a live chat box kind of as the heart of the homepage here. And I just want to cover some of the features and benefits because I get a lot of questions and I usually respond to them by email manually. And I'm getting a lot of repeat questions these days because there's so many new members. I used to just let people figure it out and find their own way. But I want to provide you with just a little bit of general guidance to expedite your journey. You can still take whatever direction you want. I just want you to know here's a couple places where you can find things quicker. Starting up here in the right-hand corner of the page, it says Tragedy and Hope Community. You could search. You can search terms like Cecil Rhodes, New World Order, any type of term that you might be studying in American history or world history, and it'll bring up posts, videos, forums, groups, any place on the site where that topic is posted. So that's a little known feature. A lot of people don't even see it here. It hides kind of at the top right corner, but it's super useful. Next, let me just hit some of these menus. Under the Me, which will show up after you create your profile on your own page, you'll have access to the intro video I made a couple years ago for the general topics that Tragedy and Hope covers based on the books of Carroll Quigley back in 1966. He wrote Tragedy and Hope, A History of the World in Our Time. And he also had another book that was very useful called The Anglo-American Establishment. It was published after Quigley's death. I think it was published in 1981. Moving to the next tab, Colleagues, Corbett Report, Freedom's Phoenix, InfoWars. I'm not a big fan of Alex Jones, but I do like the coverage of stories on there that aren't covered other places. John Rappaport, he's a great thinker. I like to check out his blogs occasionally. James Pilato at Media Monarchy. I've known him and James Corbett since 2006. They're great guys, great colleagues to work with. And Maria Heller, who first published my 2006 MP3 called Project Constellation, Message to the Future of America. And last but not least, the School Sucks Project with our good buddy Brett Venot. Next tab is publications. You have several of our publications listed here for the past, since 2006, but we've created this form of the site in 2009. So it does go back prior to the creation of this site. Under resources, the Media Mail, that's a great resource right there. If you're just joining, you can see what's gone on for the past 7 years on this site, as far as weekly publications by liberty-loving and freedom-producing people who are colleagues of ours, whose work we find interesting, who are commercial-free. These are all things that are important. I don't like to waste my time with ads and commercials, so it's kind of made up of a selection of people who are members within the Tragedy and Hope community who also produce content. So that's the Media Mail, and they're all listed here. You can click each one and find the list of publications for that week in history. There's also the History So It Doesn't Repeat group. This is the advanced access members only place on the site. This group started when I was producing a series exclusively for subscribers called History So It Doesn't Repeat. And over the past couple of years, we've changed that format. So the current show that I'm doing right now, it's a video series exclusively for advanced access members of Tragedy and Hope community. And it's called The Deep End, Dive into Consciousness. And if you scroll down here, you can see here's all the episodes. Here's episode 23, part 2, part 1, episode 22. And then you can go to the bottom here. And you can view, you can't add the discussion, but you could view all, and you can see the earlier discussions, and then you can see some general comments, and then there's specific comments under each episode that you can check out. If you would like to learn more, and going back to the homepage, so aside from the chat box here, you'll have your own personalized area where you can send emails through the Tragedy and Hope community within the community to other members. You can invite friends, you can change your settings. You'll get group invites if somebody invites you to a group. Over here, I usually post one of the T-shirt designs that we've just created, or in this case, we're going to PorcFest, the Porcupine Freedom Festival next week in New Hampshire, and we did a little fundraiser to help defray our costs on that project. And as you scroll down, if you're intrepid to scroll down, people with birthdays in the community today, you would see the most recent tweets from my Tragedy and Hope Twitter account, but I have that hidden because I have an ad blocker on my browser. Shame on me. Then I have posted some of the more interesting videos that we produced. I'm doing a lot of things on Vimeo these days because I found YouTube kind of restrictive and censorshipy these days. Over here on the right side, if you'd like to donate or subscribe to get the advanced access membership, you probably already have a basic access if you're actually watching or listening to this video already. And that's how you can kind of upgrade it or upgrade it. Continuing down, here's an area where it shows the latest activity, the most recent posts by me or any of the members in the community. And that goes on and on. Over here on the right, you've got a list of groups. Groups right here, most popular Trivium study group, 324 members, history so it doesn't repeat. That's the advanced access members only group. And scrolling even further down, you got a couple RSSs of some affiliates and colleagues of ours. And down here someplace there should be, that was long. Maybe I need to trim up that list. Podcasts. I'm using Firefox browser right now. I'm suspecting this is some sort of Flash element here that's not showing up because all the browsers are wacky these days. I used Firefox for a long time, and now I find myself having to use Google Chrome, this independent browser called Brave, Internet Explorer. Sometimes I have to try 2 or 3 browsers to find content on the site to get it to show up. And it's evident I got that problem on my own site. I'll work to fix that. So anyway, these 2 sections will show up for you. This is the new world next week. It will be a video series plug-in right here from YouTube that would give you the playlist for the most recent works by James and James. And here you've got the video section where if you're a member, if you've got a profile on the site, whether you're basic access or advanced access, you can share videos that you find inspiring, informational, educational from YouTube or Vimeo. You can embed it and link it, and then people check it out and like it within the community. So it's more signal and less noise than if you just go to YouTube and you find cats playing with string. Here's a recent blog post, one of the most recent. Lisa had posted on the fundraiser explaining it and the bonuses we're giving away. Right below that, Tim Kelly, member of the community, professional political cartoonist who launched his podcast a couple years ago. So he's posting episodes of his podcast, which I also listen to on a regular basis. And scrolling back up to the top. Okay, so the remaining tabs where there were these groups. There's Peace Revolution for my podcast. There's a group for that. There's the History So It Doesn't Repeat group. This is the Advanced Access Members Only History So It Doesn't Repeat, Deep End, Tragedy and Hope Casual Cafe, all the exclusive content I've made for subscribers. So there's 7 years of content in this group right here. Teenage Links. We've got the intro video. We've got a link to the store on the Tragedy and Hope site, which has some of our films, the History Blueprint, T-shirts, anything else we've made over the years. We don't make many things. There's a couple things on there that are pretty cool, and I encourage you to check it out. If you use the social networks like the Twitter, listed on there at Tragedy and Hope. I don't use Facebook, but I do use YouTube sporadically these days, and the official handle is youtube.com/Tragedy and Hope Mag, because we were running a magazine when I first started the YouTube page. There is a Tragedy and Hope Facebook group that's administered by a couple friends of mine. Like I said, I don't use the Facebook, but I don't blame people who do. You just need to make it more of a asset and less of a liability, less of a time sucker, and use it for do something to drive some revenue and make some online income, so that it's a little easier to pay the bills. This is a playlist on YouTube. This is a History So It Doesn't Repeat series playlist. I think there's 23 episodes in there, so it's a little over 2 seasons. This is the Ultimate History Lesson playlist on YouTube. This is what we did with John Taylor Gatto. It's 5 hours, and that's the Ultimate History Lesson group on Facebook. Almost done. The Tragedy and Hope Brain tab. You can get the brain model, and then these are different entries into the model, different search criteria. So if you just click one of these, it would launch the model. It would bring up that page, and from there you can use the search box and read. So it's basically search, click, read, repeat. And you can use that to drive your entire decentralized, autodidactic, self-reliant education system. Last but not least, we did a group a couple years ago, group discussion, weekly calls discussing a method of critical thinking and creative problem solving called the Trivium method. And this tab, as well as the top menu tab on tragedyandhope.com, gives you access to all of those resources. So there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to explore. It can't all be done in one day. So what I recommend is each time you visit the site, click a different tab, click a different sub-tab, and explore. And if you find a link that happens to be broken, send me an email, richard@tragedyandhope.com. Thanks for listening, and enjoy your time in the community. Happy learning. Have a great day.